This show is part of OnePlace, a daily network of focused briefings across the stories people follow most.
Welcome to our daily sports roundup. We have a packed show today covering everything from massive NFL trades to historic baseball streaks and the unique traditions of the next generation of stars.
Meet the mulleted lineman with a massive Culver's appetite.
Utah hockey fans trade Vegas jerseys for local pride.
Munetaka Murakami makes history with 5 straight home runs.
Juan Soto returns to help the struggling New York Mets.
The Bengals trade their first-round pick for Dexter Lawrence.
Top draft prospects choose home over the big stage.
16 players prepare for the NFL Draft Green Room.
Shohei Ohtani experiences the frustration of an advanced caning.
Let's start with Jennings Dunker. Jennings Dunker is quickly becoming the most fascinating prospect in the upcoming NFL Draft. And it isn't just because of his 6'5" frame or his impressive play as an offensive lineman for the Iowa Hawkeyes. Dunker has gone viral for his incredible red mullet and a mustache that makes him look like he stepped right out of a different era. But what really has people talking is his legendary Game Day Eve diet. This young man from Lena, Illinois, consumes a staggering amount of food to fuel his performance. We are talking about multiple servings of pasta, a 12-ounce steak, and 3 hamburgers just the night before a game. Then, he wakes up and eats chicken breasts and pancakes for breakfast. It is a routine he follows to a T, and it culminates in a post-game trip to Culver's for a double bacon cheeseburger and family-sized cheese curds.
It is honestly impressive that he can move at all after that much food, let alone block elite defensive ends. Dunker's personality is as big as his appetite, and he seems genuinely surprised by his newfound fame. He mentioned being shocked when fans recognized him at O'Hare Airport after the Combine. Coming from a tiny town with a high school of only about 200 students, this level of national attention is a major shift. Scouts are projecting him as a Day 2 talent, meaning his combination of physical strength and unique character will likely land him a significant role in the NFL. Whether it is the red mullet or the 3 sides of ranch he orders with his onion rings, Dunker is bringing a level of authenticity to the draft process that fans are absolutely loving. He is a reminder that football is still full of larger-than-life characters who love the game.
Now to Salt Lake City. The rivalry between the Utah Mammoth and the Vegas Golden Knights is getting personal, and it is happening much faster than anyone expected. Since the Mammoth are in their inaugural season, they are fighting to win over a local fan base that has spent years cheering for Vegas. Before Utah had its own team, the Golden Knights aggressively marketed themselves as the team for the entire Mountain West region. Now that the two teams are facing off in the Stanley Cup playoffs, the Mammoth are taking a bold step to reclaim their territory. They are hosting a jersey exchange where fans can trade in their old Golden Knight sweaters for a brand new, logo-only Mammoth home jersey. It is a symbolic move designed to wipe away the old allegiances and solidify Salt Lake City as Mammoth country. The team owners, Ryan and Ashley Smith, are leaning hard into this identity battle.
The timing of this exchange is perfect because it happens right before Utah hosts its first ever home playoff game. The series is currently tied, which only adds fuel to the fire. Vegas owner Bill Foley has tried to downplay the loss of the Salt Lake market, suggesting that gaining Arizona as a secondary territory makes up for it. But you can tell there is a real battle for the soul of hockey fans in the region. The Mammoth aren't just playing for a win on the ice. They are playing for the hearts of a community that was previously a hockey gray area. By offering these jerseys for free on a first-come, first-served basis, the Mammoth are making it very easy for fans to switch sides. It is a brilliant marketing move that turns a playoff series into a full-on cultural reset for sports fans in Utah, making the atmosphere at the Delta Center even more electric.
Next, a baseball record. Munetaka Murakami is putting on a power display for the Chicago White Sox that we haven't seen in a very long time. On Wednesday night, he homered in his 5th consecutive game, which tied a franchise record and set a new mark for the longest home run streak by a Japanese-born player in MLB history. Even more impressive is that he reached 10 home runs in just 24 games. That is the fastest any White Sox player has ever reached that milestone, and ties for the 4th fastest in the history of the entire league for a player starting their career. His latest blast was a 451-foot monster that left the crowd at Chase Field in absolute awe. His teammates are running out of adjectives to describe what they are seeing, with Miguel Vargas calling the performance unbelievable. Murakami seems to be making perfect swing decisions and finding the barrel of the bat consistently.
What is perhaps most refreshing about Murakami is his humility despite this historic start. When reporters pointed out that he currently has more home runs than three-time MVP Aaron Judge, he quickly shut down the comparison, saying he isn't at that caliber yet and needs to stay focused on his own adjustments. The White Sox signed him to a 2-year, $34 million deal, which is looking like an absolute steal given his current production. He is hitting for a high average and maintaining an OPS over 1,000, proving he is much more than just a home run hitter. Manager Will Venable is clearly thrilled with his new star, noting that Murakami is making great contact and showing incredible discipline at the plate. The south side of Chicago has found a new hero, and if he keeps this up, the record books are going to need a lot of updating by the end of the season.
Moving to the Mets. The New York Mets are in desperate need of a spark, and they are hoping the return of Juan Soto provides exactly that. Soto has been reinstated from the 10-day injured list after missing 15 games with a right calf strain. His return couldn't come at a more critical time, as the Mets are currently mired in a 12-game losing streak. During this skid, the offense has been almost non-existent, batting just .194 as a team and being outscored by 45 runs. This is the longest losing streak the franchise has seen since 2002, and they are dangerously close to some of the worst marks in their history. Soto was immediately slotted back into the lineup as the designated hitter, batting second. The team had to option catcher Hayden Senger to AAA to make room for him, but that is a small price to pay to get one of the best hitters in baseball back on the field.
It is wild to see how quickly things fell apart for the Mets once Soto went down. They actually won 3 games right after his injury, but then they fell into a total tailspin starting on April 8th. The pressure on Soto to perform immediately is immense, but he is the kind of player who thrives in these situations. The Mets' record of 7-16 is disappointing, but with a lot of season left, a healthy Soto could turn the tide. The team's slugging percentage during the slide was a dismal .284, showing a complete lack of power that Soto is specifically designed to fix. Fans at Citi Field are hoping that his presence in the dugout and at the plate will break the cycle of losses. If they can't turn it around soon, they might start approaching the franchise record of 17 straight defeats from their inaugural 1962 season, which is a history nobody wants to repeat.
Now for NFL news. The Cincinnati Bengals are entering the 2026 NFL Draft without a first-round pick for the first time in 37 years. This is a massive shift for a franchise that has historically relied on day-one selections to build their roster. The reason for the missing pick is a blockbuster trade with the New York Giants for star defensive tackle Dexter Lawrence. Cincinnati sent their number 10 overall pick to New York in exchange for the 3-time Pro Bowler. The Bengals' defense has been a point of concern since their Super Bowl appearance, and the loss of Trey Hendrickson only made matters worse. By bringing in Lawrence, the Bengals are making a huge bet that a change of scenery will help him bounce back from a disappointing 2025 season. They are prioritizing proven veteran talent over the potential of a rookie, hoping Lawrence can return to the dominant form he showed in 2024 when he recorded 9 sacks.
It is a risky move, especially considering Lawrence's stats last year were career lows across the board. He had only half a sack and 31 total tackles, which is far from the production you expect from a top-tier defensive tackle. However, the Bengals are clearly focused on maximizing the window they have with Joe Burrow. They still have 7 picks in the later rounds, but sitting out on Thursday night will be a strange experience for the fans in Cincinnati. Meanwhile, the Giants now hold 2 first-round picks, including that number 10 spot, giving them a lot of flexibility to rebuild. For the Bengals, this draft is all about the immediate impact of Dexter Lawrence. If he can anchor that defensive line and provide the pressure they've been missing, the trade will be seen as a masterstroke. If not, fans will be left wondering why they gave up such a high pick for a player coming off a down year.
Next, draft attendance news. While the NFL Draft is usually associated with players walking across the stage in Pittsburgh, some of this year's top prospects are choosing a different path. Fernando Mendoza and Kenyon Sadiq, 2 of the most anticipated talents in the draft, have decided not to attend the event in person. Mendoza, a former Heisman winner and the projected number 1 overall pick, has opted to stay home in Miami with his family. He explained that his parents really wanted to share the moment at home, and it makes the logistics of traveling to his new team the next day much easier. This makes him the first projected number 1 quarterback to skip the draft since Trevor Lawrence did it in 2021. It is a growing trend where players prioritize a relaxed, intimate environment over the bright lights and high-pressure atmosphere of the green room. Mendoza seems very comfortable with his decision to stay on the couch.
Kenyon Sadiq is also skipping the Pittsburgh festivities. The former Oregon Duck is considered one of the best tight end prospects in years, especially after running a blazing 4.39 40-yard dash. Instead of the green room, Sadiq is planning to rent an Airbnb to celebrate with his friends, family, and even his former college coach, Dan Lanning. It sounds like a much more personal way to experience a life-changing moment. For these players, the draft isn't about the suit or the handshake with Roger Goodell. It is about the people who helped them get there. While the NFL certainly loves the spectacle of having stars on site, the absence of the top quarterback and a top tight end shifts the focus a bit. It shows that these young athletes are increasingly focused on their own comfort and family traditions, even as they prepare to enter the multi-billion-dollar world of professional football.
Regarding the green room, even with some big names staying home, the NFL Draft Green Room in Pittsburgh will still be packed with elite talent. 16 prospects have accepted invitations to attend the first round in person this Thursday night. This group represents the next generation of NFL stars, and the league clearly expects all of them to be selected early. One of the biggest stories of the night is the dominance of Ohio State. The Buckeyes have 5 players attending the draft, which ties the all-time record for the most prospects from a single school in attendance. This matches their own record from 2016 and Alabama's from 2012. It is a testament to the incredible recruiting and development happening in Columbus. These players will be waiting in the green room, surrounded by family, hoping to hear their names called so they can take that famous walk to the stage and shake the commissioner's hand.
The draft is taking place in the lots surrounding Acrisure Stadium and Point State Park, and the atmosphere in Pittsburgh is expected to be electric. For the 16 players in attendance, the green room can be a place of immense joy or incredible stress if they start to slide down the draft board. However, with only 16 invites sent out, the NFL is fairly confident these guys won't be waiting long. Fans will be watching closely to see which teams make the right moves to secure their future. The 3-day production is the highlight of the offseason for many franchises, and seeing these young men achieve their dreams is always a powerful moment. Whether it is the Buckeyes making history or a surprise pick that shakes up the first round, the green room is where the human element of the draft really shines through, as the cameras capture every emotion.
Finally, Shohei Ohtani's struggle. Shohei Ohtani just received a harsh introduction to a concept San Francisco Giants fans know all too well, the caning. Named after former Giants pitcher Matt Cain, a caning occurs when a pitcher delivers a brilliant performance only to be let down by a lack of offensive support or a bullpen collapse. In Ohtani's case, it was what we call an advanced caning. He was absolutely dominant on the mound, striking out the side in the first and cruising through the next several innings with ease. He looked every bit the international superstar he is, living up to the massive hype. However, despite his brilliance as a pitcher, the Dodgers' offense was completely inept. The irony here is that Ohtani is also the designated hitter and the anchor of that very offense. He found himself in a vicious cycle of being both the victim and the cause of his own frustration on the field.
It is a unique situation because usually a pitcher can just blame his teammates, but Ohtani has to look in the mirror when the bats go cold. He handed the game over to the bullpen after a stellar outing, only to watch from the dugout as the lead evaporated and the offense failed to respond. This advanced caning is particularly painful because it involves a pitcher going above and beyond, only to have the magic run out once they leave the game. Matt Cain famously had 17 such instances where he pitched at least 6 innings, gave up 1 or 0 runs, and still didn't get the win. Ohtani is now intimately acquainted with that specific brand of baseball misery. Even though he was nearly untouchable for 5 innings, the lack of run support meant there was no margin for error. It is a reminder that even the greatest individual talents in the game are still at the mercy of the team dynamic.
That's our show for today. Thanks for listening to our daily sports roundup. We'll be back tomorrow with more updates on the stories you follow most. Have a great day.